having me.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right. So I'm going to go all the way to the line as long as I can. John in Texas. Hey, John. You're talking to Eric and Daryl.
Yeah, hey, I made it on the show too. This is my second time listening, first time calling.
Cool.
Let me see. Do you see the note that they wrote to you on what I want to discuss?
It says here, atheists are biased, act like there are no flaws in science. I actually feel like I can answer that pretty directly, but I don't want to answer something that is not your point. So would you present your point before I give a response?
Okay, well, my point in calling on the show is just to say that I just wanted to question or make you think about that. I just wanted to say there is more to reality than what you can see, than what you can touch. It's called metaphysics, and just because you can't comprehend it or have an experience doesn't mean it's not real.
What's your definition of metaphysics, John?
I just said it's something that you can't see or you can't touch.
Okay, so if I'm investigating something at the atomic level, does that make it metaphysics?
At a certain point.
Really?
Because
what about
at a certain point? Because the law of observation, the act of observation has a lot to do with the state of an object in the quantum state.
Okay, so outside of quantum indeterminacy, we are talking about investigating the world. And so when you say there are no flaws, that there are flaws in science,
No, it's the scientific process, because it's just a method.
Yeah.
And it's 100-year-old. It's like hundreds of years old, and people want to dogmatically just believe it. And real quick, I want to say that's a part of atheists. They say that atheism isn't a religion. It is part of a religion. It's part of the scientific, the science and the academic religion.
John, I followed you all the way up to this point.
Okay, go ahead.
Two things. Number one, science is not a religion. Number two, don't say all atheists. If you're going to make that statement, say some atheists, or atheists that I have observed, or what I think about atheists. Because
every atheist I have ever observed.
Okay. We are atheists that you can observe that do not dogmatically follow anything. I can speak. Can I speak for you on that,
science?
Daryl?
No, science has got its flaws for sure.
We absolutely
the Catholic
disagree
method has its flaws.
Yeah,
but they're much worse.
Agreed. But for science in particular, John, I would not dogmatically be able to tell you that I am positive that I exist.
But you're positive, but you don't mind arguing the fact that God doesn't.
Actually, I want to argue everything. I know, I'm that asshole. And they gave me a show. I know.
You think there's a different? Do you think arguing's a little bit lower level than communicating? Like, because when you have a conversation, having a conversation and arguing are two completely different things, and the amount of information that gets transmitted or.
There are actually two definitions of argument, and I get that first definition. That's the one that you're using, which is one where you're mad, you're not really thinking, and you're just angry and blowing up.
I would call that more fighting. Fighting. Or arguing. Yeah.
Yeah. Argumentation in philosophy just means you're presenting the premises of what you believe in a structure that we can investigate.
Right.
You can very coolly, calmly, and lovingly argue in the philosophical sense. Does that make sense? I think we're using two different definitions.
Yeah, I think the two definitions we're having a disagreement on is the definition of religion. What is your definition of religion?
Daryl, you wrote a book.
Well, religion is an ideology, that's what almost all religions are. It's just a special kind of ideology that posits the superstitious. Pardon?
Can you simplify the word ideology?
Yeah, it's a structure. It's a system, a structure of
way
beliefs.
Of believing, right?
It's a structure that you frame your worldview through. Yeah. So if you have a Catholic ideology, you're going to see the world in one way. If you have a Baptist or a Muslim ideology, you're going to have a
So what
different
is the
structure.
atheist ideology?
That's not an ideology. It's just
They
simply
believe
the
that
answer
God
to one
isn't real.
question. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
You're
say it again? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
you're trying to pour a gallon of water into a teaspoon. And when you say atheism is an ideology, it's not, because it only answers one question. You have to go a lot farther to get an
Wait,
ideology.
what question does it answer?
It only says, is there a God or not? And
That's
most
not
of the
answering a
people
question,
are
that's asking a
agnostic atheists, you know. They say, I
Wait,
don't
real quick.
I don't know, and I
just
don't
said that
care.
You just said that atheism answers a question. It's asking a question. It's not answering one.
no. The
By
answer
definition, you
is
said-
okay. So actually, I can clarify
Yeah,
this.
there, go for it. Yeah.
I can clarify this to both of you. Well, you already know.
Yeah.
But the clarification is, if the question, does a God exist, is posited, whatever that answer is going to give you what our definition is. So if the question is, does a God exist, your answer would be, John?
I would say yes.
Okay. And our answer would be, I don't know, but there's not enough evidence. So we're going to withhold judgment until evidence comes about that is going to convince us. So we're not asking the question because both of us are being asked the question. We just have different answers. And so that answer of, I don't know, but I'm going to withhold until, that's
not really an answer, though.
That's skeptic. I'm sorry?
That's a statement. That's not really an answer. That's a statement saying that you don't know, but we could figure out. An answer would be, giving that's not really, is that by definition an answer? You're just kind of giving a statement.
Absolutely.
An answer is, I don't know. Isn't that an answer?
I don't know is actually a incredibly honest answer that I fully support.
But atheists don't say you don't know. They say God's not real. Every time people try to give examples why, y'all turn to the scientific method.
See,
but
you just said atheists again. You're talking to two of them.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a live studio audience with a bunch of people quietly shaking their heads because
you're not bringing up the scientific. Dude, you've been bringing up the scientific method to every other caller, and now that I'm saying that y'all talk about it, you're not talking about it.
Well, so let's qualify it.
Too.
Let's actually qualify it. The scientific method is something that we use to investigate the world.
Right.
Do you agree that the scientific method is something we use to investigate the world?
Yeah, but like I said earlier, I don't think it's perfect.
I don't either.
Things in it.
Well, you're putting claims in our head that we have never made.
Yeah, we're skeptics, which means we don't really follow that anything is perfect, and I don't think we can know with perfect, clarity any real capital T truths. And so
how are you using science trying to say that God's not real?
Because
Whoa.
Ooh, he did the thing. Ooh, okay.
I
John.
like how you have arguing points already.
Well, so we are not starting with the conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
You said, how do you use science to prove that God's not real? We're not trying to do that.
Well, when I'm trying to give examples of how he can exist, you're completely ignoring him.
Well, and
you're not giving me any scientific reasons why.
Well, what we're doing is we're practicing something called skepticism. There's this philosopher.
Is that part of the scientific method, or is that part of philosophy?
Philosophy. So when
that's part of ideology, right?
Right, and I'm
system.
If you watch, you said you've seen the show before, right?
Yeah.
You know how we talk about tools in the toolbox?
I watched it yesterday for like 30 minutes, and I was like, I'm going to have to call these guys.
Okay, so there was a philosopher, his name is Descartes. I disagree on a lot of things that he's done, but said and his conclusions, but he did do something. He did line out skepticism very, very well, and it's something that we continue to do, right? He was the one who said, I think, therefore I am. And what he did is he said, I want to prove that skepticism is a bad idea. And so what he did is he goes, okay, what do I know for sure? Do I know that I'm experiencing reality? And he goes, well, I could be dreaming. Okay. Do I have access to things? Does math still work? Okay. If math still works in my dreams, is there a way that I could be wrong about that? Well, the only way I could be wrong about that is that the universe is on, and the reason he's following that all the way down is because he wanted to get to absolute certainty, right? Which is the opposite of skepticism. And so
I actually know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. So when we're talking about skepticism, when you say, here's the claim, the first thing we want to do is we want to go, ooh, is there a falsifiability to it? Can we determine, does it withhold scrutiny? Does it stand up to scrutiny? And we do that.
My first claim was that atheists hold on to religious belief in science, and you're giving me a perfect example by teaching me all this stuff, telling me everything you learned everything you learned that you got indoctrinated to. The majority of the population are indoctrinated, whether it's through religion or science or politics. It's all forms of indoctrination unless you understand it.
We were just talking earlier about parents who abused their children because they didn't learn their Bible verses, and that is something I experienced in real life. How many parents abuse their children because they're not being good scientists? I don't even understand what that means.
I don't either.
And
that
really,
makes no sense.
the qualifier that cut off Daryl, which was important, is that it's not just an ideology. It's an ideology with a superstitious element, which makes it different. Right? And so if we want to use different words, we can, but ultimately it's an ideology that includes something that is either intangible or a God belief or a system of rituals and procedures, practices, and things like that. It's kind of an all-in-one.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm talking really fast, John.
No, you're good. I want to say something to the beginning thing you just said.
Okay, and then we actually have to stop because I've got to end out the show, or the producer will murder me.
You said how many parents would punish their kids for not studying science? You're not comparing the two situations correctly. A better example would be what I would say was, how many scientists have you seen do things that are inhumane to children or people in general throughout this generations for the sake of science? I think that's a better argument.
No, because then our response will be
why not? Why not? Because you're ignoring the fact that
you're ignoring the systematized rape of children by the Catholic Church for generations.
I never ignored that. That's
okay, perfect.
That's happening.
Then that's okay.
Why are you ignoring what I'm saying? You're bringing up a whole other subject that I agree is wrong, but you're not. You're just completely ignoring what I'm saying.
I think I missed your point. Then
I do too. I think humans, no matter what they call themselves, have the capacity to do bad things to other humans. It takes religion to really make it bad, though.
You're trying to say science is okay, and how many?
I'm not trying to.
Have you seen
John
treat their kids bad because of scientific reasons? And I was saying, well, how many scientists have you seen treat humanity in general or kids? They've done.
I was talking. I was responding to your comment about indoctrination, John.
Studies.
Okay, but we have 1 minute, so call back next time because I want to be able to listen and I want to be able to catch on. I don't think that we made that connection this time because I think I was talking past you, and I think that where we were when I was talking, I think you may have been talking past me as well. But we'll connect. I want you to call back, okay?
All right.
Take care, brother. Can we get a camera to the back? I really want to show our crew while they do that.